The leaders of different countries gave an important task to a blacksmith who had the ability to create powerful swords to prepare for the coming of their enemy. One day in the independent trade city which was called Houseman, there was a man who argued with the salesman after he did not agree on the price of the item. Fortunately, a girl named Cecily Campbell, who was a night guard of the city, suddenly came to check the problem. She threatened the man and said that he would answer to her sword if he would not stop causing trouble. The man was frightened and could do nothing but leave. Because of what Cecily did, the other vendors and buyers felt relieved and grateful to her. But just a few minutes later, there was another disturbance in the distance, so Cecily quickly went there. It turned out to be the war veteran, named Jack, who seemed to have lost his mind after the war. Cecily tried to stop him, but he did not listen to her, so she was forced to pull out her sword. That was the first time that she was going into actual combat, and she was facing a veteran fighter. That's why she could not fight well. When she tried to attack him, Jack managed to cut her sword. She could not believe that the Campbell family's sword had been destroyed so easily. Jack was about to kill her when a man, named Luke, suddenly came to block Jack's attack and cut its sword with his weapon. Jack did not expect that his sword would be defeated, and that was when the other night guards came to arrest him. When Cecily was about to stand up to thank Luke, she fell down again because her knees suddenly weakened. Luke turned away and left immediately with a girl named Lisa. They were supposed to go on a meeting to present a sword, but he lost his interest, so they just went home. When Cecily regained her strength, she immediately went to the sword factory to have her sword repaired. According to the blacksmith, they would need to melt her sword again to repair it, but Cecily did not want it to happen because her sword would definitely change. The blacksmith added that even if they repaired the sword, it might not be useful in the battle. Cecily suddenly remembered the guy who helped her, so she asked the blacksmith where she could see him. When she got Luke's address, she immediately went there. At that time, Luke and Lisa had just finished their work, so she saw them as they were about to leave the workshop. When she found out that Luke was also a blacksmith, she begged him if he could make her a sword like the one on display. But Luke answered that he no longer accepts orders, and his father was the one who made the katana that was displayed on the wall. Cecily asked him who created the sword that he used to save her, and Lisa was about to answer, but Luke stopped her to say anything. Cecily tried to insist on him, but Luke still refused. After a while, they suddenly heard an explosion. It turned out that the Inhumans were attacking the night guards who were escorting the important cargo for the city. A bandit was pleased while watching them together with another man who helped him control the Inhumans. When Luke and the girls went to check what happened, Cecily immediately approached a soldier to ask what happened, then she also took his sword to help. They saw the Inhumans, and based on the actions of the creatures, Luke suspected that someone was controlling them. Cecily rushed at them, but her sword did not work on the creature, and she was hit by the Inhuman. Fortunately, Luke acted quickly to save her. He also fought the other Inhumans and successfully killed them all. After what happened, the bandit got worried, so the man in black used his other weapon. So after a few moments, they felt another explosion in a nearby place. When the light from the explosion disappeared, the area where the light came from gradually froze. So they saw the monster who was responsible for this, and Luke knew that it was a devil's contract. He confronted the monster so that Cecily and Lisa would be given a chance to run. But when his sword broke, Cecily quickly returned to counter the monster's attack. In that situation, he immediately told Lisa to take out an iron sand steel because he was going to make a katana. When they started using the power of Lisa's eyes, Cecily was surprised when she witnessed what they were doing. It was only a matter of time when they successfully created a new katana. Luke approached the monster and prepared himself to attack. Cecily also noticed that the katana which he was holding seemed to be on fire. The monster attacked first, but Luke easily blocked it. Then he quickly attacked to cut off one of its tentacles. Cecily was amazed at Luke's katana, but she did not know much about this weapon, so Lisa explained to her how it was different from a normal sword. But Lisa added that the katana which Luke was holding was more special compared to the ordinary katana. The tentacle that Luke had cut grew back, and they noticed that it seemed to change in shape. When the monster attacked again, Luke could do nothing but avoid them. Cecily was surprised that Luke was not using his katana, so Lisa said that he was just avoiding the possibility of getting his katana be cut again. Because if this happened, his would face death. However, Luke was trying to estimate the right distance as he prepared to attack his enemy. When he saw the right opportunity, he did not miss it and immediately defeated the enemy. After watching the fight, the man in black also left immediately. As Luke approached Lisa and Cecily, his katana gradually disappeared. Cecily wondered why it vanished, so he informed Cecily that it always happened on the katanas that he used in fighting. The next day, the representatives of the different countries met to talk about Valbanill and the sacred sword, but Luke still did not attend. The houseman mayor could not explain it, so he apologized to others. The representative of the empire mentioned that they should not be meeting at Houseman because there were sighted monsters outside the city. Then the Valbanill war that took place 44 years ago was suddenly mentioned in the conversation. They are worried that this may be a sign of the return of what they fear, which was the Valbanill. This was the reason why they tasked Luke to create the sacred sword which they would use against the enemy. On the other hand, the night guards led by Hannibal were taking the bodies of those who were victimized the other day by the Inhumans. Just a few moments later, a night guard informed Hannibal that they had captured a bandit who survived in the incident. So they found out that they were the ones who gave the medicine to the Inhumans. When Hannibal asked where the medicine came from, the bandit could not say the culprit's name because he did not identify himself to them. The only information given about the bandit was that he was wearing black clothes. The man in black was also the one who gave them information about the shipment. When the bandit mentioned that the man in black also turned their boss into a devil, Hannibal was shocked by this. But when the bandit was about to give more details, a monster suddenly came out of his mouth which Hannibal quickly killed. They could not believe that the devil's contract could be done with others. At night, Hannibal immediately went to their mayor to inform him of what they had learned earlier. They had a hunch that it was possible for this man in black to come back to take the demon sword that was in their custody, so they needed to catch him immediately. When Hannibal opened the container of the demon sword, he was shocked that it was not there. So the mayor said that the obtained demon sword by the bandits was fake, because he let the real demon sword stroll outside. The next day, Cecily returned to Luke's house to beg him to make her a new katana. With her insistence, she was able to get Luke to agree on her plea. She was so happy and said that she would do everything to protect the city through the katana that Luke would create for her. But Luke suddenly felt sad because he remembered someone who said similar words just like what Cecily had said. They also talked about Cecily's payment for the katana because the materials needed to make it were not cheap. Cecily tried to negotiate for the price, but Luke did not agree on her suggestion. So when she returned to the headquarters, she could not help but vent her anger while talking to Patty. Hannibal came and took her to the mayor's office for a few moments because they had a special mission for her. She was tasked to protect a demon sword that was also the content of the cargo that she and Luke protected the other day. When they went to the office, she was introduced to a woman named Arya. It was only here that she found out that Arya was the demon sword that she was going to protect. They immediately went to Luke's house to introduce Arya to them. To make Luke believe that Arya was indeed a demon sword, Cecily asked her transform. While Arya was about to transform, she mentioned the word kill God, which surprised Luke and Lisa. It turned out that Arya was the demon sword of wind, and Cecily also tried it so they could see what it could do. Then Cecily said that one of the reasons why they were there was because they wanted to take Lisa out and treat her with food. While the girls were eating, they talked about Luke. Lisa mentioned that she and Luke would usually go to the market once a week. But they were not there to have fun or to look around, because Luke was looking for something. She revealed that it was the sword that could kill a god, so Cecily and Arya were surprised to hear it. So Lisa immediately made an excuse and Arya got along with it. Luke was at that time thinking about what happened earlier, and it made him think that Arya might be the one he had been looking for so long. After they ate and while they were walking, Cecily asked Arya how old she was. Arya replied that she might be 40 to 50 years old because when she woke up it was still the height of the Valbanill War. She did not know how she got to the battlefield, and who brought her there. So in the beginning, her life was not pleasant because from the moment she woke up, many people died immediately because of her. Sometimes it also made her wonder what the real purpose of a demon sword was. Meanwhile, in a jail, the prisoners suddenly got up as if someone was controlling them. They suddenly got enough strength that they were able to get out of jail. While the girls were at the headquarters and was supposed to get the sword that Cecily requested, they suddenly heard the sound of a bell. Hannibal immediately assembled the night guards for each squad's position. Cecily also wanted to join them, but Hannibal forbade her because her mission was to protect Arya. When Luke also found out what was happening, he immediately prepared to go to the city. Since Cecily was restless, Arya told her to follow whatever her heart wanted. So they went out quickly, and when they passed an alley with people, they were stopped because Cecily noticed something that seemed familiar to her. It turned out to be Jack with a man in black, but they left immediately. Since there was also a prisoner in the area, she could not catch up with them. When they saw what looked like insects on the prisoner's body, Arya said that he was already a living corpse. Cecily fought against the prisoner until she defeated him. But she could not kill him because he was still a human being. When Luke arrived, the prisoner got up again. Luke was about to prepare for the attack when Reginald suddenly came and rushed at the prisoner. He was the one who killed the prisoner, and before leaving, he told Cecily to quit as a night guard. She thought that she was useless, so Arya gave her courage despite her weakness. The man in black took Jack to the Abaddon building to perform the devil's contract between the two of them. A few days later, the mayor and Hannibal decided to hold a demon sword demonstration at the upcoming festival. They made this plan so they could make the man in black come to the city and catch him. Although they know the danger that their plan may bring, their decision was complete. They had no idea that Cecily had come, and she accidentally heard their conversation. When they noticed Cecily, they told her their plan of conducting the demon sword demonstration. Cecily could not refuse them anymore, so that night, Cecily talked to Arya about it. She knew that she would only put her friend in danger in what she would do. But Arya made it clear to Cecily that she had her complete trust on her. The day of the festival had arrived, so Luke and Lisa were also there to try to find what he had been looking for a long time. Lisa thought of Arya, but Luke said that they would need 100 weapons like Arya if they wanted to defeat Valbanill. A few hours later, Cecily was called for the demon sword demonstration. After Arya transformed, she showed to the audience the power of the sword. When she looked at the spectators, she was shocked to see Jack. That was the moment when the devil's contract was activated, so she immediately told the people to run. When Jack became a devil, the Spirit Prayer Squad moved quickly to bind him. But it did not work, so he got an opportunity to attack Cecily and the others. Cecily even tried to take Arya, but she was preceded by Jack, who immediately used the demon sword in its attack. No matter how the night guards tried to stop Jack, his power would just dissolve them. Luke and Lisa came there to evacuate Cecily, but she refused to go with them because she wanted to save Arya. So she begged Luke for his help, and he could do nothing but answer to her plea. Luke told Cecily that she should be the one to end Jack. He knew that this would be hard for Cecily, but he wanted her to overcome this challenge. When they were ready, Luke and Lisa started in creating the katana that they were going to use. Luke informed Cecily that she could only do 3 attacks against her enemy. And if she could make the last attack, Cecily should make sure to finish off Jack. She started her attack, and with her last attack, she managed to cut off Jack's hand. Cecily quickly took the sword even though it was very hot. When she used the sword on Jack, the enemy managed to block it. But after doing this attack, she quickly approached Jack to aim at his heart, and that was when she finally defeated him. But due to the incident, many night guards were killed, and unfortunately, they still had not caught the man in black. A few days later, Cecily and Arya decided to hang out at Luke's house. Cecily said that she came because of the katana that she asked Luke to create, but since she had no money to give, Luke had not started it yet. She suddenly remembered what happened the other day, so she asked about the devil's contract. Luke said that it was not the same as the prayer contracts that use black sand steel, because the devil's contract used human flesh and blood. Based on what he knew, those people who became devils at the height of the Valbanill War were released. But there was another thing that the devil's contract required, and it was the death words that were engraved in the heart of every person. It was being read by the very person who would be subject to the devil's contract, so it would look like he volunteered to do it. This method was the reason why it was forbidden to execute this ritual, and the people who were behind this should be eliminated. After they finished eating, Cecily decided to help Lisa with her laundry. That was when Cecily noticed that Lisa's clothes seemed to be old and worn repeatedly. For this reason, they decided to take Lisa to the city to buy her new clothes. They also took Luke with them, so it was only here that Luke realized that he had neglected Lisa in her personal needs. While they were shopping for clothes, Luke left for a while. When he returned, Lisa had just finished choosing what to wear. They were about to leave, but suddenly, Cecily and Arya disappeared. It turned out that they were just hiding to give the two more time to enjoy the day, but Luke decided that they should just go home. When they were on the bridge, Lisa could not stop asking Luke if the clothes fit her. But Luke did not answer her. Instead, he gave her the hat that he bought earlier. Lisa was so happy that she could not stop crying. One day, while Cecily was on duty, they were suddenly attacked by two women. They tried to run away from them, but when they got to the empty lot, they were stopped by another companion of those chasing them. In this situation, Cecily was forced to fight them. The three attacked her together until she was surrounded by the enemies. The two decided to step aside, so that one of their colleagues could fight her first. That was when the enemy took off her coat and immediately attacked Cecily. She kept attacking until Cecily lost her grip on her sword. That was when Arya decided to transform into a sword to help her. But before Cecily could attack, her opponent attacked her first, which she quickly blocked. After that, her opponent introduced herself as Doris, who was one of Lady Charlotte's attendants. And the sword that she was holding was the demon's sword of earth, named Claymore. At that moment, Charlotte was already at Luke's house. She introduced herself as a member of the Imperial family, and she wanted to invite Luke to the Empire. But Luke immediately rejected it and just sent his visitors away. So Charlotte mentioned that her men were currently in the city to retrieve the demon's sword of wind. After hearing this, Luke went out to go to Cecily, but Charlotte stopped them. Since Luke did not want to listen and obey her, Charlotte was forced to use Evadne. She also transformed into a sword, and they learned that she was the demon's sword of black flame. When Charlotte attacked Luke, he just easily blocked it. Since Charlotte was not yet skilled in using a sword, Luke just defeated her. While Cecily continued to fight with Doris, another opponent decided to take Doris' place. She introduced herself as Margot, and the weapon that she was holding was the demon's sword of red light, called Rumbea. When she attacked again, Cecily was able to stop it. So the third opponent could not wait any longer and replaced Margot immediately. Cecily attacked her, but the enemy easily parried her attack with her demon's sword. She introduced herself by the name Penelope, and her weapon was called the demon's sword of slaying. She attacked Cecily, but Cecily was able to hit her with her punch. So Margot and Doris also acted to help Penelope. Cecily struggled to fight the three opponents until she let go of Arya, and her weapon was taken from her. But before they could leave, Luke suddenly came there. After Luke made the katana, he immediately attacked the three girls and quickly defeated them. After that, they brought Charlotte's group and went straight to the mayor's office. Charlotte introduced herself and said that she was in the city because of Arya and Luke. But the mayor did not allow her to do what she wanted, and he still doubted whether she was indeed a member of the imperial family. That was when she pulled out the dagger that only the members of the imperial family owned. She said that the imperial majesty gave it to her mother, but the queen did not accept them. The mayor decided to take the dagger as well as the 4 demon swords, while they waited for the empire's answer. Charlotte agreed to this, but they would live in Cecily's house because she was a noble. They want their temporary stay to be comfortable, and Cecily could not refuse this request. But when they went to Cecily's house, they were only disappointed because her house was not for noble, so Cecily clarified that she was only a former noblewoman at the moment. When Charlotte was about to enter, Theo greeted her. Theo made it clear that she did not care if they were from the Empire. She stated that they could not live in the Campbell household for free. This means that they would also be working in the house, so they changed their clothes, including Charlotte. Doris could not accept Theo's imposed rules, so she rushed at her, but she was just taken down by a punch as well as Margot and Penelope. Since Charlotte was annoyed that Cecily was just laughing at them, she also suggested to Theo to make Cecily an assistant as well. Cecily thought that it was impossible, but Theo liked Charlotte's idea and took Cecily with her. The next day, Luke and Lisa went to the city to collect some discarded metals. While Lisa was busy collecting the metals, Luke went back to the vacant lot. He recalled what he did to Charlotte's attendants the other day. After a while, he was surprised when he noticed a woman at the top of the stairs who looked like his childhood friend, also named Lisa. But it turned out to be Cecily, who also served as an assistant. When Lisa came and saw her, Cecily became even more embarrassed, causing her to run away. A few hours later, while Cecily was in training, Arya invited her to go to the headquarters to check out the other demon swords. When Evadne suddenly transformed into her human form, Hannibal decided to lock her up. While Arya was examining the 3 demon swords, Patty went to Cecily because Hannibal called for her. Then Arya went to the jail because she wanted to ask something to Evadne. Since she also knew that the 3 demon swords that she looked at earlier could not transform into human form, she asked Evadne what made them different from the demon swords that could not transform. But except for her answer that Arya already knew, Evadne did not say anything else and just told Arya that one day, she would know it whether she liked it or not. At night while they were playing cards, Doris asked Cecily why she still treated them well despite what they had done to her. Just as Charlotte was about to enter in the room, she overheard what they were talking about. After what she heard, she realized something about her current situation. When Charlotte noticed a room at the end of the corridor, she peeked into it and saw Cecily's mother who looked like her mother. The two of them talked and she said that she was confused about whether she should return to the Empire or just stay there with her attendants. But if she stayed, her mother would be left behind in the Empire, and she did not want it to happen. The next day, they were summoned to the mayor's office because the Empire's answer on Charlotte's claim had arrived. But the letter stated that the Empire did not recognize Charlotte as a member of the Imperial family, and that her group also allegedly stole the demon swords from the Imperial Order. The Empire also requested that Charlotte must be sent back to the Empire to be punished for the sins she committed. Charlotte was devastated by what she heard, so Cecily and Arya tried to persuade the mayor not to send Charlotte, but the mayor said that if they disobeyed, the city would be in danger. A few days later, the Empire sent an army towards the city which was led by Siegfried. At that moment, the mayor suggested to Charlotte that they must go to the garrison state because that was the only way they could think of to help her. He added that they must return the demon swords to the Empire, and would tell the representative of the Empire that they managed to escape. But the garrison state might demand in return the information they know about the Empire. So Charlotte thought that if she did this, she was betraying the Empire. Charlotte did not accept the mayor's suggestion, and they decided to leave immediately. After that, Cecily and Arya went to Luke to discuss the situation of Charlotte. Cecily just wanted Charlotte to be happy, but she could not think of any other ways to help her. When Lisa suddenly spoke, she shared about her thoughts. She said that if she was in the same situation as Charlotte, it would not be a problem for her no matter where she lived, as long as she could still be with Luke or with Cecily, and they could still do what they used to do. That was the moment when Cecily thought that Charlotte would be able to live anywhere as long as her attendants were with her. So Luke immediately sent Cecily back to the city because Charlotte's group might do something bad. And Luke was right about it because the 3 attendants were already planning to get the demon swords, but Charlotte did not know about it. Meanwhile, Theo was already worried because Cecily and Charlotte's assistants were not yet at home even though it was raining so hard. When Cecily caught up with Doris at the headquarters, she tried to stop what they were planning. But they did not want to listen to her, so Cecily could not avoid fighting with them. She first fought with Margot and was able to knock her down after beating her. Theo informed Cecily's mother that she saw that the storeroom was open and that the other weapons were also missing. So Charlotte quickly left the house because she had a hunch that it was done by her companions. At that time, Cecily fought against Penelope and she also successfully defeated her. Doris came to fight her, so when Charlotte arrived, she found them exchanging attacks. When Doris used the power of her demon sword, Cecily retaliated with her attack. Since Arya's strength prevailed, Cecily successfully defeated Doris. Charlotte was worried and immediately approached her attendants, so Cecily encouraged her to just follow the mayor's suggestion. Charlotte rejected it again because she did not want to let her mother down. But Cecily reminded her that she should also think about the feelings of her companions who were also struggling because of her situation. That was the moment when Charlotte realized that she had never thought about how her companions really felt regarding their situation. She thought that she wanted to be with them and live a new life, so she accepted the suggestion of Cecily. The day before Charlotte's group was about to leave, Charlotte told Cecily who gave them the 4 demon swords that brought them there. She said that his name was Siegfried, and because Cecily did not know him yet, she did not mind about this information at first. A few days later, while they were having breakfast, Cecily's mother complained that her daughter was only focusing on her training. She told Cecily that she should also learn to act like a real girl sometimes, so someone would like her as a woman. She suddenly remembered Luke, so her mother confirmed that she already liked a man. For this reason, her mother ordered Theo to dress her in beautiful clothes, so that she could attract Luke. But she was so ashamed of the dress that she was wearing, so she kept hiding when she left the house. She thought of going home, but the blacksmith she knew noticed her. He begged Cecily to accompany one of his customers to Luke because she was going to have her dagger repaired. She introduced herself as Elsa, and Cecily could not say no to her request. When they arrived at Luke's house, Luke immediately checked the dagger. Based on its damage, Luke said that it was impossible to fix the dagger. So Lisa volunteered to do maintenance on it. After that, Luke went to visit Lisa's grave, so he took Cecily with him. While Lisa was carrying out maintenance on the dagger, she had no idea that Elsa was planning something bad on her. But Elsa did not continue with what she was planning because Lisa said something about the dagger. Because of this, Elsa told the story of the dagger's past. It turned out that it had a bitter past, and Lisa could also feel the sadness surrounding it. When Luke and Cecily arrived at Lisa's grave, he told Cecily that this was the girl whom he failed to protect. Cecily also found out that the Valbanill was responsible for her death 3 years ago. She was thinking that it was just a legend, but it turned out to be true because Luke said that he saw it with his own eyes. Luke recalled that when they were young, Lisa said that they should enter the cave that leads to the Mount Blair volcano. Even though it was forbidden to go there, Lisa still insisted, so Luke could do nothing but go with her. But while they were inside the cave, a monster suddenly appeared to them. It was the Valbanill, and when Lisa tried to protect him, she ended up taken by the monster. His father immediately looked for them, but he too died at the hands of the Valbanill. Cecily asked him why he brought her there, so Luke answered that she and Lisa were look-alike. When Lisa finished with the dagger, Elsa thanked her and left immediately. Arya was also on her way to Luke's house, so she and Elsa ran into each other. When Elsa passed by, she suddenly felt something strange about her. Elsa arrived at her hideout, and her master was waiting for her. It turned out that he was also looking for the Valbanill because he wanted to take revenge for the death of his daughter, who was also named Elsa. Due to the condition of his body, Elsa was forced to say that she had seen the Valbanill. After a few hours, Luke noticed that someone was approaching them. When he and Lisa found out that this person was looking for the Valbanill, they were both surprised. Using the demon's sword, this man attacked their house. When Luke came out to deal with him, he was immediately attacked. He also attacked Lisa, but fortunately, the demon's sword deflected his attack. He could not believe what his demon's sword did, and this sword turned out to be Elsa. Due to the condition of his body, he thought of retreating for the meantime. The next morning, Cecily visited them again and they found out what happened that night. They were talking about the demon's sword used by the attacker, so Arya mentioned about her suspicion that it was possible that the woman she met the other day was the one they were referring to, because she felt that she was also a demon's sword. The representatives of different countries were at that time had a meeting, and since Luke was not there, they found out the reason. Others suspected that the Empire was trying to take Luke by force, but the representative of the Empire immediately denied it. They once again discussed the return of Valbanill, but up to that moment, Luke was not sure when he could finish the sacred sword. Luke said that something was missing, and he did not know what it was. He was thinking if it was because he hated the Valbanill, or he might just lack in skill as blacksmith. In the afternoon, while Arya was shopping for food, she and Elsa met again. The two of them talked because Arya also wanted to ask Elsa why the demon swords exist. According to Elsa, they were formed because of someone's hatred on Valbanill. This hatred was from a person who had no other desire but to kill this monster. This was the reason why they also mentioned the word kill God whenever they transform into a sword. At night, the man in black visited Elsa. He was the one who gave them information. He intended to help Elsa and her master to get back on Luke. So after a while, Luke came out to face them. In order for Luke not to become an obstacle to the revenge of the man and Elsa, he was suddenly attacked by the man in black. Elsa and her master acted quickly, so Cecily told Lisa to get in the house right away. When Elsa transformed into a sword, Cecily let Arya transformed as well. After the exchange of attacks between Luke and his opponent, the enemy used the power of his sword on Luke. It was also a demon's sword called Sable. When the enemy attacked, Luke did not expect that his opponent had a follow-up attack, so he was hit on his arm. Lisa was about to approach Luke, but Cecily stopped her. That was when the enemy took advantage to attack, and luckily, Cecily was able to quickly block this and saved Lisa. The man attacked again until his body weakened. But he forced himself to get up and attack again, so Cecily retaliated against him. When Cecily defeated him, Elsa immediately transformed to counter the attack. When Elsa fell, her master immediately looked for her. Elsa tried to get close to him, and she prepared because she had to fulfill her promise. Using her dagger, she aimed at her master's chest that caused his immediate death. Then it was the moment that she completely broke down. As Luke continued to fight, his opponent could not stop himself from revealing Luke and Lisa's secret. So it was here that Cecily found out that Valbanill's blood was present in Lisa's body. She was also a devil who was created using the body of Luke's friend who died, named Lisa. Luke suddenly attacked his opponent, and here they saw Siegfried's face. But the enemy quickly made a way to get out of there. The next morning, they gave Elsa a proper burial. After that, Lisa invited Cecily to have lunch with them. But it turned out that Cecily was assigned as one of the guards at the upcoming conference meeting, so she rejected Lisa's invitation. By noon, the representatives of each country arrived at the city one by one. When Siegfried came, Cecily was surprised to see him because he was the one whom they fought the other night. She immediately attacked him, but Siegfried's attendant, named Franziska, stopped her. The other night guards quickly held onto Cecily, and when Hannibal came out, she said that Siegfried was the man in black that they had been looking for a long time. She also mentioned that Siegfried was the same person whom Charlotte referred that gave them the demon swords. But since she could not provide a solid proof, the others did not believe her. Until Luke came, and made her stop in making her accusations. Luke added that the day would come when he would be able to kill the person in black. So Siegfried suggested that Cecily be included in the conference meeting as well. Before they started, the others wondered why Cecily was with them. Since they also had a suspicion that Luke might have already mentioned to her about the sacred sword, they did not mind her presence anymore. As their meeting began, Luke presented to them the sacred sword. But he made it clear to them that it was not yet finished, so the others were disappointed at him. They mentioned Lisa in the conversation, and one of them suggested that they could use her power to finish the sacred sword faster. But Luke said that the swords he made with Lisa's help could be easily damaged, so they could not use her power as a seal on Valbanill. Lisa, who was his childhood friend, was also mentioned in the conversation, and the others uttered insulting words that annoyed Cecily so much, but Luke tried to calm her down. They speculate that Luke sacrificed Lisa just so he could save himself. They said that the reason why Luke's left eye was made of glass because apart from Lisa, he also allegedly sacrificed one of his eyes to make the devil's contract. Luke did not say anything to deny it because he could not remember much about what happened that time. Cecily tried to defend Luke, but Luke just got angry at her and told her to get out of the room. When Cecily got out, she went straight to Luke's house to talk to Lisa. She apologized on her after her reaction when she found out Lisa's true identity. As the meeting continued, they started to argue on some matters, so they decided to have a recess. Siegfried approached Luke and said something as if he wanted to kill everyone in that room. Little did they know that his men were already moving to attack the city. While Cecily and Lisa were talking, Lisa could not stop crying. She said that even though Luke was having a hard time, he still did not abandon her. She also mentioned all the things she wanted to do to help Luke, so Cecily suddenly realized something. She immediately returned to the mayor's office to inform them of what she had discovered. It was about the fact that Luke did not turn Lisa into a devil. Because the creator of Lisa was Lisa herself, but Luke denied this. In Lisa's desire to protect Luke, she made a devil's contract with herself. But she chose to be a gentle girl rather than a strong devil. And through this, she would be able to protect and take care of Luke as she wanted. And that was the reason why Lisa had the power to create a katana to help Luke in the tasks related to the blacksmith. Luke still did not want to believe Cecily's explanation, so she took the katana that Luke brought to remind him of the true value of his creation. Siegfried laughed at what Cecily said, so she challenged him to try and cut Luke's katana with his weapon. Siegfried agreed on this, but when he used his weapon against it, his katana was cut. Because of this, he felt ashamed of what had happened. After the meeting, Luke was surprised that Lisa was outside and waiting for him. Siegfried was so angry at his shameful experience, so he ordered his disciples to attack the city. He planned to kill everyone in the city, especially Luke and Cecily. So while Luke and Lisa were talking on the bridge, they were suddenly attacked by Inhumans. Luke remembered what Siegfried told him in the meeting, and he was sure that Siegfried was behind this. On the other hand, Siegfried was very happy as he watched his disciples take down the people one by one. The night guards came there to arrest him, but he just killed them with his demon sword. After Luke finished off the Inhumans, they noticed the thick smoke coming from the center of the city. Because of this, Cecily and Arya immediately went there. At that moment, Hannibal and his men were also fighting against a vengeful devil, but their attacks were not working on the enemy. A few moments later, Cecily arrived and immediately attacked the enemy. They helped each other to fight the devil, but every time they defeated an enemy, a new devil would come out. Luke decided to look for Siegfried, but before he could leave, someone suddenly attacked them. Fortunately, he acted quickly and was able to defeat the enemy with just one attack. Because he and Lisa got separated, Lisa ran to a different path to get back to him, but Luke did not wait for her and immediately went to the location of Siegfried. So Lisa went to Cecily to let her know that Luke had left her. Since she knew that Luke was going to Siegfried, she begged Cecily to go with her to find Luke. Fortunately, Hannibal allowed Cecily, so they left quickly. But before they could get far, Franziska stopped them. She fought Cecily, so that she would not bother Siegfried. After a few seconds of exchanging attacks, Franziska was able to knock Cecily down. But when she attacked again, that was the moment when Cecily had a chance to counter it. Cecily's attack was so strong that her opponent was unable to recover. Then Arya returned to her human form due to the injuries she sustained. So Cecily let her rest, and they continued to search for Luke. When Luke found Siegfried, they did not waste any more time and immediately fought. Luke just repeatedly blocked Siegfried's attacks, but noticed that it had an effect on his katana. A few minutes later, Cecily and Lisa also arrived in his location. That was when Luke's katana was destroyed, and he was hit by Siegfried's attack. They immediately approached him, and Cecily decided to sacrifice herself in Siegfried's next attack. Even though Luke asked her to go away, she did not listen to him. So Luke told Lisa to bring out some black sand steel because they were going to make a katana. They started it right away and successfully completed the weapon despite the injury that Luke sustained. But he suddenly fell, so he left the katana to Cecily's care. Cecily accepted it bravely, and in her mind, this was her chance to avenge those who were killed by Siegfried. Her battle with Siegfried immediately began, and soon Cecily successfully cut off Siegfried's demon sword. Because of this, she was able to stab him in the chest. Siegfried knew that he could do nothing against Cecily anymore, so he decided to retreat. A few minutes later, while Lisa was treating Luke's wound, the katana that Cecily used also disappeared. But Cecily had full confidence in Luke as the best creator of weapons, which was why she called him the Sacred Blacksmith. This is the end of the last episode of Sacred Blacksmith Season 1. I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss new uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.